this morning's class.
I need to think what I'm doing.
Yeah. Don't move, never move a foot until you've taken all the weight off it. That makes sense, doesn't it? But that's one of the mistakes that causes trips and falls, where we move our foot before we've taken all the weight off it. It's as simple as that. So reminding your brain is, so all good.
And then there's one exercise in the Shabashi called Flying Pidgeon or Flying Dove.
Mm-hmm.
Flying Dove, I think I've got this right. You go forward.
That's right.
And back.
That's one way of doing it. Shall I just briefly demonstrate this one, because there's a couple of extra things you may want to put in there. So the first thing you do is, like you say, so I'm going to put my weight onto my left leg, all my weight, and when it's there I'm going to lift my right foot, heel and down. So I'm going to go into that position, okay? Move my body forward and bring my arms to here. Bend my back gently, come back, and as I come back, lift my toe to there. Forward, lean forward gently and raise the heel on my left leg. So you're rocking gently backwards and forwards, toe up, toe down, and heel up on the other foot. Okay, so it's that gentle rocking movement, and just gently leaning forward, and then we do the other side, heel, toe and forward and back, toe up and forward and heel up. So yeah, like a rocking horse.
It's a lovely movement.
It's a very nice movement to do it properly. Now what I would say is that one place where we lose our balance very easily is the distance here. If we bring our feet and they're not far enough apart, you're off balance. So it's not just how far you go forward, it's how much gap you leave that way as well. Too little and you're over. This is very common, so make sure that you've got decent width to your stance as well, to make sure you're really solid before you do the move. You got that?
Interesting.
Okay, there we go.
Now let me see.
Let's see. So just transfer your weight. That's it. No, don't step back. Don't step back. Just keep your foot. Keep that foot forward first. That's right. And step into it, and bring your. That's right. Right. And bring your heel up on the back.
You see, I should be practicing that.
That's what we're doing.
Just on its own.
Yes. Okay. That's a good idea. Yes. Practice that just on its own then. Just a foot move. That's it. Heel up.
When you do
heel
dragon,
down, toe up.
You don't lift.
No, you don't. Careful.
That's the difference.
That's the difference.
Dragon.
Yeah.
And what you're doing here.
Yes, it's not pure dragon. Yeah, that's right. Are you feeling comfortable like that? Do you feel balanced?
Right side is always easier than left side.
Yeah. That's good. Toe up, heel up. That's right. You may find if you move your foot slightly further out, you might find that you're slightly more stable. It looks like
the right side is pretty stable. It's the left side that I feel that I'm not
Well, that's the one to practice then. That's right. Bend your knee if you can, nice and gently. That's
You
right.
see, there's the old
injury, yeah.
which normally doesn't cause me any problem till I do something that I'm not doing regularly.
That's
You see?
Yeah, you need to be careful, yeah. This is exactly why these exercises are good. You do have to be careful, don't you?
But
with
I
your
think
balance.
it's good for people who are older and perhaps more likely to fall in the home than younger people.
Why do you think you lost your balance just then? Where do you think it went wrong? This is the important thing.
Because of
Your knee.
Because of the way I've been all my life, I suppose, since I had this injury when I was about 14 or 15.
Yeah, so it's no, it wobbles, does it?
It's part of me being me.
Yeah. That's good. Excellent. And then I'll try the other foot again. Bring the other one forward. Looking good.
If I know where I'm going wrong and how to correct the weakness, it means I need to do more
on that side.
That side.
Yeah.
And to remember
and the
that
heel toe will really help. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, so you can see the knees a bit weak, can't you? Good. That's a good exercise for your knee, that one, isn't it?
It's a good exercise for me.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's definitely one for the daily daily exercise.
And it's a nice, you see, I've lost it.
I tell you what, we didn't do any warm up. That doesn't help. We should have done maybe should have done some warm up first.
I suppose this would be considered.
Let's warm up, yeah. Although maybe.
I mean, this is something you can do any old time in the day, really.
One warm up exercise that might help, of course, is just doing the hips. You know, where we stand with our feet shoulder width apart, feet pointing forward, and we just put our hips on there. Make your knees go soft and just rotate, like so. That will help. That will help your knee as well. So you're rotating your knee gently when you do this exercise, which would be good for you, I think.
And this one, of course.
Absolutely, yes. That's a good exercise. Yeah. 5 one way and then 5 the other. That's it. Very important to go the other way as well. Yeah. How does that feel?
Do you know, yesterday I was doing this exercise. I've done it lots of times over the years. And I was down like this. And all of a sudden, I kind of went like that from up here. It was most odd. It was. I thought, what's happening? I kind of lost it from here. It's never happened before.
Perhaps it was your knee. Perhaps
it seemed to come from here.
From your lower back. Make sure, it's very important to make sure that your feet are pointing absolutely forward, because as you know, it relieves it, otherwise your back isn't in the right position. It sounds like your back wasn't being fully supported in the exercise. There we go. Good.
But this one,
Yeah.
I almost do without thinking about
Well,
it.
absolutely. And if anybody's ever had a bad back, that's a great exercise, isn't it?
Well, I used to get bad backs regularly.
It's a great exercise for that.
And this is one of the reasons I've said that Shibashi sorted out my back.
Yeah,
Never
right.
think about the back. Of all the years I've known you,
Yeah.
I don't suppose I've ever not come to a class because I've had a bad back.
No, that's right. I was missing out on things with a bad back before I did Tai Chi as well. Yeah, that's good. Keep your knees soft. Make sure your knees are soft for this exercise. You're exercising your knees as well, not just your back. If anybody who has a bad back needs to know that your knees should always be soft, shouldn't they? They should always be very slightly bent at all times, especially when walking.
And if I stand naturally,
Mm-hmm.
without thinking, and I look down at my legs, this leg, the knee is always slightly bent.
Yeah, yeah,
But this one is always straight.
yeah. Because you haven't got the muscle. You haven't got the muscle to.
You see, it's
Oh,
all tying up, isn't
It
it?
is, yeah, absolutely, yeah. When you do bend your knees, another very important thing, always make sure that you can see your toes. Never bend your knees further so you can't see your toes. Always make sure you only do it so you can still see your toes at the end when you bend your knees.
Well, all sorts of things that I'm learning about. Although people tell me for my age, I'm good for my age. I know with things I'm learning from you on a session like this, I could be even better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Couldn't I?
Yeah, you will be. You will, and with time and practice, we'll get you better. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And all the sort of knowledge and personal experience with bad backs yourself, I feel it's good for both of us to do a session like this.
Yeah, yeah. And while we're talking about backs, especially what we need to, it's an interesting fact, but when you look at the spine, okay, there's a connection between vertebra number 1 at the top here and the base one, and then it goes like this, number 2, number 3, all the way down to here, to there, where they join up. So if you want to exercise your lower back, anybody who's got a bad back and thinks they can't exercise their lower back, exercise your neck instead. So how do you exercise your neck? That's right, yeah. So should we do some neck exercises? So actually, if you have a lower back problem and you feel that you can't exercise your lower back, exercise your neck instead, because they're joined, they're connected. Obviously, all your body's connected. You know, your head bone's connected to your thigh bone, all this kind of stuff. But as far as your spine's concerned, yes, if your lower back is bad, exercise your neck and your head. So we have some exercises for that, don't we, Pam? Do you want to demonstrate to the viewers? Just a gentle up and down.
When I used to get the problems with my back, it was always just about here.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose 40 years ago, I had a bad problem with it. I could hardly walk. And I went to the physio and he did something to my back. And he said, if that doesn't sort it, I don't know what will. Anyway, it was okay for a bit. And then perhaps 6 months afterwards, 12 months afterwards, same thing again.
Yeah, well, that's right.
And that went on almost till I started going to Tai Chi. I was afraid to do much in the garden. I was afraid to carry a heavy bag of shopping.
Yeah, that's right.
But I don't think about any of those things now. I just do know what I want to do.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
And I've said time and time again to people who've joined Ben's class, I physically wouldn't be as good as I am if I hadn't joined the Shibashi class.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's all I can say. I'm thankful that by just chance I came across Shibashi and Ben as the instructor.
Yeah. So how are you feeling with your exercise now? Do you feel like you've done enough, or would you like to do something else? How do you feel?
I feel it's worthwhile for me to just do the flying dove again and see whether I'm any better than I was the first time.
That's right. Yes, let's go then.
See whether I have learned something from what we've been talking about.
So what I want you to do before you step forward, I want you to think carefully about transferring your weight to the other leg and letting your knee bend slightly so that it takes the pressure, and then step forward. That's the important thing. So make sure you've got no weight on your foot before you move it. It's something you do all the time, but it helps us remember.
So if I'm going to step forward with my right leg, I've got to make sure that my weight is on the left leg.
On the left leg, that's right, yes. And that might mean bending your knees slightly if you can. That's it. That's it, lovely. There we go.
Let's do it without the arm movement first.
Okay. So just step forward, don't step back, that's right, just stay there. And now remember, rock gently backwards onto the back foot, that's it. Forward and lift your heel, that's it. Good movement, yeah. Do you feel stable and...
Well, it's slightly different to what perhaps I was doing it.
It's funny though, isn't it? It's almost exactly what you do when you walk. It's just that when we actually break it down and think about it, it becomes difficult. That's it, good. And can you bend for...
You see, then again...
This is why it's so important to keep your balance. Yeah, don't overdo it. Good. maybe that was enough of that.
But you can see...
Good.
Now,
how about doing it seated?
let me think. I've got to think. If I'm going to step forward with my left leg, I have to put all my weight onto the right leg.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Good. It's looking better than it was.
That feels better.
Yeah, yeah. You're more stable.
It's certainly a learning experience.
It is. It is. Well done.
And if I was going that way,
Good.
And I think when you demonstrate it, you move forward a bit, you bend your back a bit.
Yes, if you feel comfortable to bend forward slightly, that's great, yeah. But only, as with any movement, only go as far as you feel absolutely comfortable. And you can do this exercise seated, of course.
Well, I would think it would be easier seated.
Well, for some, obviously for some people it's absolute necessity, but
Well,
yes,
some people younger than me, couldn't do what I've just been doing.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. So, but we can still move off. We can still step forward, and we can still. You just got to be careful that you don't fall off your chair. That's all.
Do what I think will be right to do that exercise seated. If I don't do it properly, you tell me.
I think you'll do it fine.
You correct me.
I will.
I feel this is an occasion where you need to think about good posture to start.
Yeah.
So both feet planted firmly on the floor with your knees at right angles, your thighs planted firmly with weight evenly distributed and on your buttocks as well, and your arms, shoulders relaxed, and your hands and arms hanging down by the side or relaxed in your lap. To start, I'm going to practice moving my right leg forward, and then the left one. Heel down first. Now I'm going to try I know what I did wrong. I didn't put my foot down flat on the floor.
You didn't put your foot down flat on the floor, and you're bringing your foot back every time as well, which is a different exercise. But remember, with Flying Dove, we tend to keep one foot forward and just do a few with one foot forward and then do the other foot. That's right. Can you put your foot down?
That should stay on the heel.
No, you can put your foot down, but just keep it ahead of you. Just keep it in dragon. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Now I feel I ought to be bringing that foot back.
Okay, yeah. In some ways, some exercises are more difficult seated, aren't they? In some ways, but it's still a good exercise. That's right.
That wasn't right. And I suppose another one you could do from here would be something like that.
Anything that feels comfortable and good is worth doing, isn't it? Yeah. All these, as long as you keep it nice and soft, nice and gentle and slow. Slow is important. It's the slow that makes Tai Chi more difficult, isn't it? Doing things slowly.
And yet, in its way, it relaxes you.
It does.
If you just stop and think and empty your mind,
Yeah.
I could almost go off to sleep.
That's
I
right.
could.
Yeah, it's supposed to be relaxing, isn't it?
And in the right environment with the right group of people, I could almost, as I say, go off to sleep.
I think you've done very well. I think you've done enough for today, don't you?
I've done enough.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyway, thank you, Ben.
Thank you. Thank you, Pam. We'll now have another look and discussion of this particular exercise, the Flying Pidgeon. Take a step forward and start bending gently at the waist, bringing your hands forward and then rocking backwards and forwards gently, smoothly from one foot to the other. Do that 2 or 3 times and then switch foot. Okay. Bending at the waist, letting the head come down, the arms come back. Notice also that when she moves her weight onto her back foot, she brings her toe up at the front. And when she comes forward, she brings her heel up at the back. I call it the rocking horse. When you step forward, start with the heel, put the heel to the floor, and then gently transfer your weight forward, putting your foot flat on the floor. It's really important to step forward properly, leading with the heel. I'll look from another angle. There we go, stepping forward. Notice the gentle bend starting at the lower back. Moving our weight onto the front foot, onto the back foot. Keeping the knees bent. Move hands forward. Not a particularly difficult exercise to understand. There's lots of benefits. I think particularly practicing transferring weight. This is really important. And the other really important thing is the foot. We can easily have a step that's too long or too short for us even. Finding the right step, that distance there between the distance, how far forward you actually step. Don't overstep. If you step too far, that's unstable. Also, the distance crosswise. The distance between each foot going across. So, I don't know what the phrase is now. But basically, if your feet are in line with each other, you've got no stability at all. So you need to have some separation, not just the step forward, but the sideways separation as well. Does that make sense? Yeah, it makes sense. I need to have a pointer on here so I can point at things. I'll work that out for next time. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in as you're expanding the chest and the arms. Come back, switch foot. And there's our exercise for today. Thank you, and thank you, Pam, and hope to see you all again very soon.